How do evolutionists recruit new believers to their religion? Well, the way they do it is they tell you that you're not smart enough to understand evolution. You're not smart enough to understand the process, so you just got to take our word on it. We're the smart people. We're the ones that know where everything came from, so just trust us. Blindly trust us. Don't start thinking for yourself, because if you do that, then you're going to have a problem, because you're going to start running into things that you just don't understand, and it's going to sound like it doesn't make sense, but you can't believe that. You got to just trust us. The truth is, when it comes to evolution, which is a theory, it's not even in the realm of science anymore. Whenever you start going into theories, you start entering the realm of philosophy. Philosophy is the type of thinking that comes from not scientific proof, but it comes from you using your mind and you using your rational and logical thinking skills. And this is where a lot of scientists really are lacking. It's nothing new for us to find out that there's people that are gifted in one area but not so gifted in another. You might have a person that's real good at basketball. He can play basketball. He's real, strong, and he can dunk, and he's real, physically enabled. But then you put him on the golf course, he can't hit the ball for nothing. He doesn't have any kind of skills or precision with hitting the ball in golf. And you might have someone that's a mathematician and they're very good at math, but then you get them into history. They don't know anything about history. Or you might have someone that's very good at reading and they can read very well, but then you go to science and they're completely foolish in that area. They're lacking in that area. So it's not anything surprising. It's not anything new for us to see that there's a lot of scientists that are not good at philosophy. And a lot of times they just don't know it, but they're leaving the science category and going to philosophy. And a lot of times people are intimidated because we see that they're so good at science and they've done so much research. And the research that they've done, sure, that can let us know about things that will happen. In other words, if you have somebody that knows how to work on cars, he can very well help you to keep your car running, and he can tell you the things that you need to do to keep that car running. But when it comes to building a car, that is a whole new thing. He doesn't know anything about melting the plastic or welding the metal that made the things. This is a whole different thing that you'd have to be there to witness. And scientists were not there for the beginning of the creation. So when it comes to the origin of the universe, the origin of this planet and everything in it, scientists have nothing to do with that because they weren't here for the origin. So that leaves the science category and it becomes a question of philosophy. And there are a lot of scientists that are lacking in this area. But one thing every scientist does have is an agenda, and everybody has a presupposition, something that they believe before doing their science. So if you're told right when you start school that the earth is millions of years old, guess what? Every time you do science, you're going to do science like everything you're seeing is millions of years old. You're not going to ever stop and think that, hey, what if the earth isn't millions of years old? So maybe if I wasn't taught that, maybe I'll get a different result out of the science I'm doing. So this information that we're given, and that's where the brainwashing starts. Right when you're told that the earth is millions of years old, you're already brainwashed. And everything that you look at is now through a different lens, through the lens of the evolutionists, the lens that they want you to see things out of. Now, Romans 1:22-23. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like corruptible man, into birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. And this is what has happened. All the glory has been taken away from God and it's been given to creatures. It's been given to monkeys. It's been given to creeping bugs, because this is what they're saying gave us life. but they're not thinking deep enough to understand where did life really come from? Where did life start? Where did it begin? There was no Big Bang, but if there was, who would have caused this Big Bang? What could have caused it? Did it cause itself? If so, that's a self-contradiction. So this is when philosophy starts coming in and it leaves scientists stumped. The humble scientists will always admit that, oh, we don't know these things. We don't know these things. Well, if you don't know it, then you shouldn't be speaking on it because people's souls are on the line. There are two kinds of science: observational science and historical science. Historical science is theory, and theory has to be believed. This is what makes it a religion. You know, there's a lot of different kinds of theories. Have you ever wondered why we only hear one theory in the schools? How about all the other theories? Because there's many scientists that have come with different theories. But why is it that we always hear the same two theories, evolution and Big Bang, evolution and Big Bang? Why are these theories pushed so fervently? Because of one thing, and that's what makes the world go round: money. It's always about money. Pretty much anything you can ask. You can ask somebody why they're going somewhere. It's about money. Why they do this is about money. Why are you with him? Why are you with her? It's usually always about money. And that is also the same case when it comes to evolution and the Big Bang Theory. There's been a lot of money put into it. Whenever these scientists go out in the field, they're motivated by grant money. If they find any kind of evidence for evolution, they're given big money, and they're also given fame. Their faces on the front of science magazines. Their peers will accept them and praise them. This is what it's all about. Just like any other field or any other job, people want fame. They want to be at the top. They want the big bucks. And this is what motivates these evolutionists to find this stuff. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard about Lucy, but the most commonly depicted image you'll see of Lucy is this standing up straight, monkey, half man with eye whites, which no ape has. No apes have eye whites. They all have completely black eyes. And also a lack of hair. But this picture that has been shown has been manipulated by the artist to fit the evolutionary view. Truth is, Lucy didn't walk up straight like this. Lucy was nothing but extinct ape that climbed the trees. Didn't have eye whites, and also didn't have this lack of fur. It was a hairy extinct ape that has been manipulated in these pictures. This is a picture of what Lucy really would have looked like. You know, seeing this stuff and also seeing how all through history there's been hoax after hoax. There's not one full skeleton of any so-called missing link, not one. It's always bones that have shattered and spread out over large areas that have been put together and reconstructed and all have all put together to match this theory. There was a story of the Piltdown Man, and for 40 years inside the science books and textbooks given to kids, lied to kids, was a story about Piltdown Man. And it was later on found out after 40 years that the two British researchers that found these bones had really filed down parts of the bone just to make it match. But this is the kind of backhanded and deceitful things that these evolutionists do. They do this for the money. They do this for the fame. So we have to be careful and understand that we're living in a world full of deceit. Jeremiah 9:6. You live in the midst of deception. In their deceit, they refuse to acknowledge me, declares the Lord. This is the truth of it. They don't want to recognize God. Out of love for their wickedness, for lust, and for their own personal gain, they would like to get the fame and all the glory instead of give it to God. This is why we're being deceived. This is why our children are being deceived with this message of evolution. It's a very serious thing. As Jesus said, if we cannot believe him about the things of this earth, how can we believe him about heaven? Something to think about.
Do take good care of yourself.